Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day I bid to Dr. Mahmudul Hassan and to those watching this video. I, Emil Wildan bin Izhar, with the metric number of 2313463, will be presenting on the book of Terrorizing the Truth, the Shaping of Contemporary Images of Islam and Muslims in Media, Politics, and Culture. Okay, so before I delve into what I got from this book, let us know more about the author itself. Okay, so the name of the author is Farish A. Noor, also known as Badrul Hisham Ahmad Noor. So Farish A. Noor was born on the 15th of May 1967. Farish A. Noor is a well-educated man, as he studied at St. John Institution and he furthered his studies at the famous University of Sussex. So for the people who don't know who Farish A. Noor is, he is a Malaysian academician, a historian, also a political scientist. Other than being an academician, a historian, and political scientist, he is also an author. Okay, so Farish A. Noor, he wrote lots of books, and here are a few of the notable works that he has done. First being What Your Teacher Didn't Tell You. Second, Quran and the Cricket travels through the madrasas of Asia and other stories. And the third one, The Long Shadow of the 19th Century, critical essays on colonial Orientalism in Southeast Asia. But today I will not be talking about these three books, but today instead I will be talking about the book Terrorizing the Truth, the Shaping of Contemporary Images of Islam and Muslims in Media, Politics, and Culture. Okay, so as an overview, today I will be talking about the introduction of this book first. And we will be going to the first main point about media representation, second main point, political narratives, third main point, culture and entertainment, and the fourth main point, which is the counter narratives to the problems that I will be presenting, as well as the conclusion. So as an introduction, the book Terrorising the Truth, the Shaping of Contemporary Images of Islam and Muslims in Media, Politics and Culture, it is based on an international workshop which was organized by Just World Trust, also known as Just, on the 7th until 9th of October 1995. Okay, so this book, it focuses on Islam and Muslims, on how they are portrayed in media, politics, and culture, particularly post 9/11 incident. So first of all, I would like to talk on how the Western uses media representations to dehumanize and demonize the image of Muslim and Islam itself. Okay. So as we all know, in today's world, media representations have a strong influence on how we see different people and cultures. So media representations are the way people, cultures, or religions are shown in television, newspapers, film, news reports, or even social media. So these images and stories, it shapes how we think about others, sometimes in a positive way and sometimes in a bad way. So one of the ways on how the West uses media representation to dehumanize the image of Islam and Muslim is through the issue of selective reporting. So selective reporting means the media chooses to report certain stories and ignore others. So most of the time, the media focuses on violent acts involving Muslims, but they do not report the peaceful and kind actions that were done by Muslim individuals and communities. So for example, we can see in the page number 8 from the book Terrorizing the Truth, it shows that Muslims, it was obvious that no Muslim group were responsible for the incident that happened on 9/11. But during that time, the West media, they pointed their fingers to Muslims, saying that Muslims were the one who were responsible for the act that happened at the World Trade Center. But when it showed that no Muslim group was responsible for this incident, no formal apologies was given to Muslim group. So they created the idea that the religion itself was violent. But until today, there are no formal apology given for blaming the entire religion of Islam. So by them not forgiving the Muslim community, it also gives out the stereotype that Muslims are terrorists. So instead of presenting a fair and balanced view, the media often uses negative stereotypes. Okay, for example, we can also see in the page number 5 of this book, it says that Muslims are lazy, but are also shown as wild-eyed fanatics and ruthless terrorists. So these labels are not only untrue, but they also contradict one another. So this makes Muslims look dangerous or inferior, even when that is not the case. So this kind of media representation, it creates fear, misunderstanding, and unfair treatment. It dehumanizes Muslims by making them seem like they are a threat, instead of showing them as normal people with values, families, and dreams just like everyone else. Other than the use of media representations, uh, the image of Islam and Muslims are dehumanized through political narratives. So, a political narrative is the message or story that politicians and governments use to influence on how people think about a group or issue. So, these stories are repeated in political speeches, news reports, and laws, and they shape how the public views Muslims. So, as mentioned in page number 20 of this book, it says that Muslims are often used as political scapegoats. So, for example, during the times of political and economic crisis in India, Muslims were blamed for the country's problems. So, the frustration of the people was directed at the Muslim communities, even though the Muslim community were not responsible for the issues. Instead of finding the real cause of poverty, unemployment, and political failure, some leaders chose to blame Muslims as an easy target. So, this act humanizes Muslims because it treats them not as individuals, but as a problem or even as an enemy. It creates the idea that Muslims are to blame for everything that goes wrong, which leads to hate, discrimination, and even violence. So when Muslims are seen this way, people will stop seeing Muslims as normal human beings with feelings and rights. So it is also sad that to see that even in Muslim majority countries such as Indonesia and Malaysia, some political leaders use Islam for their personal gain. So they use the language of Islam, and they also use the symbols within Islam to win votes and gain support, while they commit actions that goes against the teaching of the religion of Islam, such as injustice, corruption, and even violence. So this damages the image of Islam, and it also harms the Muslim communities who are used as tools for power. So in both cases, whether in non-Muslim or Muslim majority countries, Islam and Muslims are used either as threats or symbols, so instead of being respected as real people. So this is what makes political narratives a form of dehumanization. Another way the West dehumanize the image of Islam and Muslim is through the use of culture and entertainment. So Islamic culture is one of the cultures that which always had valued knowledge and learning. There are many famous scholars who are Muslim, like Ibn Rushd, Al-Khwarizmi, and Ibn Sina, who made big contributions to the world in areas like science, mathematics, medicine, and even philosophy. So many things we use and study today came from their work. But in many Western countries, these important parts of Islamic history are ignored. Schools, media, and even books often leave out achievements made by Muslim scholars. Instead, Muslims are shown as people who are violent and uneducated, which is not true. This gives people the wrong idea about what Islam really teaches us. So based on page number 40 of this book, it states that even though the West got their knowledge from Ibn Rushd, the process of translation was unfair, where names of the Arabic scholars would be reduced if not denied altogether. By erasing this culture, it makes the West seems like the Muslim never added anything important to the world. It also makes it harder for Muslims, especially the younger generation, to feel proud of their identity and history. So entertainment is no other story. The sources of entertainment that we get, such as movies, TV shows, and online content, are mostly controlled by the West, which can be referred to page number 30 and 31 of this book. So because of this, the stories that are told often reflect Western ideas and beliefs, while other cultures, like our culture, Islam culture, are either shown in a bad way or not shown at all. We can see from page number 8, which shows how Western entertainment portray Muslims characters as degenerate and corrupt. They also use stereotypes that Muslims are sexually repressed and are unable to live in the modern world just for the sake of their entertainment. So when Muslims are shown in these shades of negative roles, and never the heroes, leaders, or intelligent characters, it sends a message that Muslims are not important or respected in the world. This is another form of dehumanization because it takes away the full image of who Muslims really are. From the points that I gave just now, it is important for us to fight the negative images which is laid upon Islam and Muslims. So there are some counter-narratives that we could do. First being the use of education system. We could try to enforce teachings that Islam is not a backward religion where we don't value education. In reality, we are taught to prioritize education as well as spiritual life. By doing so, we can teach people that Islam gives emphasis to succeed in both material and spiritual life. But before we do this, we must ensure that we truly know the meaning and goals of Muslims within ourselves. So other than that, we could also use media and communication, where we could showcase the success of Muslims, such as doing reports or biographies on successful Muslim doctors, artists, and many more. By doing so, it shows that Muslims are just like everyone else, and we are a part of a normal society, which helps to raise to break the false idea and stigma that Muslims are violent or oppressed. So the final counter-narrative is to show the true message of Islam, which is based on peace and justice. When people learn about Islam from reliable sources such as the Al-Quran, Hadith, and real Muslim scholars, they understand that Islam does not really promote hate or violence. Sharing these teachings clearly and peacefully is definitely the right way for us to correct any misunderstandings and fight the dehumanization of the image of Islam and Muslims. In conclusion, the image of Islam and Muslims has been deeply affected by negative media representations, political narratives, cultural erasure, and unfair portrayals in entertainment. So these tools have been used to dehumanize Muslims by spreading fear, false information, and harmful stereotypes. However, we must remember that these are not the only stories. Through counter-narratives, we can challenge these views and share the truth about Islam, a religion which values knowledge, peace, and compassion. So by promoting positive representation, doing the right education, and showing Muslim voices, we can build a more understanding and respectful world. It is our responsibility as the Khalifa, both as Muslims and as member of society, to stand up against injustice, speak the truth, and help others to see the full humanity of Muslims. Only then we can break down the walls of misunderstanding and stigma and replace them in order for people to see the true image of Islam. So that is all from me. Thank you very much.